All right.
Congressman Arrington, we got you now.
Good morning, guys.
Oh,
Hey,
there
morning.
you go. I
How's
don't
it
know.
going?
Well, I think we pushed the wrong button or something. We have to apologize, Congressman. How is your day going so far?
There are days when I'm voting on the floor of the House, and I wish I hit the button, the eject button, and ejected some of my colleagues into the ozone, where they could plug the holes they claim exist.
Well,
and all that good stuff. So.
Well, we're glad that you called in this morning. Always good to talk to you, and you bring us up to
You too.
speed on what is going on in Washington, D.C. And my question is, what is the the number one issue that our audience here in West Texas would be of interest to them that's going on with you and everything and everyone in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I can tell you it's not Russian collusion. That's a joke. It's political theater. Just tune out on that. It's a sad commentary on the swamp. I'll tell you what is important is what's going on with China. And, Dave, it's the biggest existential threat to the United States of America and to our future. There are lots of threats. We've got to address them all, border security, Iran, North Korea. The biggest threat, and a country that would like to take this country down without firing a single shot and could, if we didn't have a president that was not a politician and had the political courage to keep pushing to hit reset with them. If we get to reset, it's going to be tremendous for the next generation of ag producers in West Texas because that Chinese market is huge. But we're a little way off, and it's been very painful. I have some ideas on how to mitigate some of that pain while we're giving the president the runway to renegotiate, but it's important. Probably second to the courts and putting the right judges on the Supreme Court, all the various appellate and district courts. But I'd say China is the biggest threat.
Well, this is also going to hurt China too, isn't it? On their end.
Yeah, they have $5 that they export to the United States market for every $1 we export to them. Our economy is booming. We've got more jobs than we have people, and their economy is sucking air. And this is, we're in a position of strength. So I say keep going, but make sure that we take the revenue from the tariffs and make sure that we provide the disaster relief, is what I would call it, to our ag producers and other sectors of our economy, manufacturers that have been most adversely affected by these the tariff battle going on. Yeah. So I think that's the right thing to do.
Congressman, let's be honest. China has been taking things from, especially intellectual properties, from people around the world, and has been using that against them. They've been trying to take over, from what I've read in just different things. They've been trying to take over the African countries by offering them technology, but then saying they can only get that technology from China. They're literally hurting many, many people around the world. Why is the United States the only ones willing to do this right now?
Because of Donald Trump, our president. And again, listen, I want y'all and my listeners to understand, he says some things, tweets some things that I'm not particularly fond of. And I would even disagree with him on some policy issues from time to time, like pulling out of the Middle East, with Syria especially. But this president, his courage, his will to stay the course when a lot of the Chamber of Commerce lobby is coming down like a ton of bricks on him, most presidents would have just phased out. China has played our politicians like a fiddle for decades, and they can't play this president, and I'm standing with him on this. I want him to be smart. I spent this weekend with his staff, with his chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, and I was just imploring him to make sure that we use some of this revenue to offset the pain and the lost market and the lower prices of some of our ag producers, only until we get to the greener pastures of the reset. That's a billion people market. It's the largest in the world, and it will truly be a golden age for the next generation of farmer and rancher if we can get there and if we can support our president giving the runway to renegotiate.
Okay, Congressman, we have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Congressman Arrington.
And we are back here on KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin, and we are, again, returning to the line with Congressman Jodey Arrington. And,
Congressman, just real quick, are there any other countries that are trying to fight China right now?
No, they in fact, just kind of an interesting connection to our last vote on the Democrats forcing the president and our country back into the Paris Agreement. Europe has not met its targets for the Paris Agreement, ironically, and those that have tried aggressively have actually not lowered any carbon emissions, and they've lost so much of their manufacturing to China. We've said this was a giveaway. China doesn't even go into that agreement until 2035 or some distant year, and we subsidize them in China. It is such a sham deal. But nobody has the guts, and China has great control. By the way, I would commend to your listeners, read about their Belt and Road program, which is another way to gain control over economies like Africa and others, where they're building infrastructure and they're doing it, they're financing it, and when the other country defaults, they own it. It is a scary but very real scenario that China's deploying.
Yeah. They're essentially trying to take over developing countries.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Congressman Arrington, thank you for calling in. We're running out of time, but thank you so much, and we hope to talk to you here in a couple more weeks.
Thank you, guys. God bless. Go West Texas.